Hi, everybody.
Hey, hello there.
Hi. Hi, Sunny. How are you?
I'm good. And you?
Yeah, perfectly good. I'm so
I think
exciting
it's
today, because we were talking about this Nintendo 7.1. And, every new release for me, it's like, oh, I have a new gift. I need to open it. It's like,
absolutely.
Christmas.
Yeah,
Christmas before Christmas.
that's true. And I think it's been a while. We've come together and just spoken to everybody of you out there. And I think it's only because we were all trying to get all the great stuff for you
Yeah.
all. And of course, whatever we have to share today, it's going to excite you as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, so definitely stay by the end of the stream to know everything.
Yeah, this is the second reason why I'm exciting too. It's I'm missing you. Everybody is missing so much. So the stream missing so much, you missing so much. It's like, oh, I want to do it again, but sometimes you need to focus on different things to make all these things available after. So that's always. Sometimes it's like too good to have a good break and be back with good content, and I'm pretty sure that we have a good content to share it today
Yes, a
with
lot of
that
it.
stream. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so I think we can start because uh, that will be very exciting. So the first
Okay.
things I want to share with the different people is we are talking about the Nintendo 7.1 release. So we will dive into different topics, make some demos sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
and try to cover between an overview and details view. So you have already written an art blog article that make this overview 7.1 release overview, so people can probably reach it and read it. But in this session we will give more details, and we are also preparing some technical blogs about all the different features. So we are trying to cover everything to ensure that all of us can understand and yeah, start easily with Nintendo 7.1 release.
Yes, absolutely. And you know what? This is something that I'd like to say, just as we have told and we have done before also. So, our streams are really interactive. So, make sure that you drop in a hi on the chats. Tell
Yeah.
us where you're from and how's the weather at your place and how excited you are to learn about all the great things we're about to share today. And of course, do not forget to ask any questions that you might have on the chats below, and we're going to get back to you with the great answer.
Yeah, perfect. I will just remove our little,
Image.
embedded camera so you can see everything on the screen and we can start. So, the first thing that I wanted to start with is about the application composition platform dev process. If you already watch our videos, you probably knows that, let's say, you probably knows that already. It's like we basically say that every time, but I think that was very important for everybody here to remind that we have different personas and we have different worlds when we're talking about application composition platform development. And it's very interesting to just do a reminder. So first things is, I want just to start with all the people studying by the creators. We will talk about the enterprise architect after, but what we need to have in mind is, so basically in the team we will have creators that mostly are developers, but maybe also designers, or I don't know, people that actively develop components use component generator, the CLI. Then we will build and package all these um, component as bundles and make it available on the hub. So then we have the curator, that the curator manages this central hub. So the central repository we call the hub. So that includes, some metadata, versioning, or maybe security checking, something like this. Then we have the composers that basically use low code or no code tools to compose application for the final users. And consumers that are the business owners then use this different composition to achieve a business goal. So this is basically a fusion team you can have to develop your different business package called PBCs, package business capabilities, and finalize your needs. So achieve your needs, and all these things can be how can I say that? The enterprise architect can help in designing applications, define the business architecture. Also at the company level, it's like more at the top level. So it's not exactly in the division team, but can be a part of it sometimes, and help also the team to achieve all these things. So if we talk about the 7.1 release, I must admit that this release is mostly focused on the creators. I think we have some things about creators too, but creators, excuse me, are, let's say, the main target here. What we want to do is to enforce the developer joy and make the developer experience really good.
Yeah,
So what's new?
Albert, then it's definitely for you.
Yeah, of course. What's new? So what new in 7.1? So we have different topics. The first one was the bundles as templates. So I think if you already use Entendo, you know that you can create new bundles with the CLI, but you probably don't know that. No, you can create them from existing bundles. It's not like really extending the template. It's more like creating a new bundle from an existing one. And so I can leverage existing elements from these bundles. We have a new Docker-based bundle structure, so we will see quickly all the bundle structure change, why, and what are the differences from the previous Git-based structure. And of course, to make all these things usable and easily, doable, we improved and had some specific bundles to link in the CLI. So all this category, marked in the yellow frame, is the bundle-related features. Then we have a new features that we call the Entendo Platform capabilities. That could be defined as a kind of the equivalent of PBC for the platform. So it will help you to extend your platform capabilities by adding new features, just like an add-on, in your platform. That's, by the way, that thing is very exciting. So this is the platform related features. I really like that. And then we have we decouple the MFE microservice wiring via the service discovery. And this is what we call the architecture related features. Okay, so you can find all the details in the 7.1 patch notes available on the developer.nintendo.com. Okay, so let's start with the first topic, that is create bundles as templates. So create because it's more for creation, so for creators, and bundles are template because if you check this schema, you can easily understand that the first frame is about the end bundle init, so the init of a new project. So if you use this end bundle init, you will be able to create a new bundle from scratch. So basically empty ones, only the structures needed. Then you can add components. Yeah.
I think the commands have changed a bit than it was before. Don't you
Yeah,
think so?
Yeah, the command have changed a bit, but we have a slide. We were talking about that. Of course, we make it more, coherent across what we want to achieve and how to achieve it. So that's
Right.
why the end bundle init, it's probably a new command for people that already use the CLI, but
Yeah.
we had something equivalent before. So the thing is, okay, you have the end bundle init, so you can init a new project. And you can add components. Then you build everything. Then you run it. Let's say locally, for example. That's fine. But I want to use something that already exists because that will cover, let's say, 50% of my new bundles. I want to, or maybe I need to change few things because that's all they implement. It is not exactly the same thing that I'm thinking about to do it. Okay, so you can init from the hub. So you can do the end bundle init with from hub option that will basically let you choose bundles from a list of bundles, and then you can continue your dev process. So you can add components, you can build, you can run, but you will leverage from existing bundles. So that means any creator can use any bundle-based template to start a new project. The only requirement is you need to have access to the source if this one is provided by the creator. So if you already know the hub, you know that in the hub you can having access to the bundle, but also you have the sources. So you need to have access to the sources to have this to use that features.
Yeah, I think these are pretty great. Like, I know before you go ahead and show us a little demo of this, I just want to say the commands for the CLI are something which are very important because I think I'm a person who would use the CLI more than anything. Like, that's a very handy way of using something for daily basis. So even for people who are new here, you can go and check out a lot about the Entando CLI, and of course, these commands are really going to make your work easier when you're trying to work with Entando.
Yeah,
So yeah,
exactly. So maybe we can have a quick demo of that. So I just preparing something. So so if let's say for example this is my command line, so I'm in TMP folder, and what I want to do is to create a new bundle. So what I can do is just to no, that's not the right things I wanted to do. So this is the demo effect, of course. So if we start with that, is the end bundle init my bundle from hub. So if I don't put the from hub, I will start from scratch. If I put the from hub, by default, it will access the Entando hub and allows me to create a new bundle from existing one. I can also add a specific hub URL by adding that option that is from so from hub and dash URL. So here this is the Entando Cloud Hub URL. So I don't need it, but for example, if you have a personal hub, if you have a company hub or anything else, you can override this value. So if I'm launching that, then I can select a PBC from the PBC list of the hub. So for example, and then create my new hub. That's it. That is very cool. So for example, if I want to create a new bundle based on the Tableau visualization PBC, I just click on that. Then I have two different hub in that PBC. So I need two different bundle in that PBC. So I need to select the right one. So for example, Tableau example bundle. And I'm done. So if you check now, I have my bundle folder here. So I can go there and I can show you the code quickly. And we can see that we have, for example, in the macro contains the Tableau MFE and the Tableau MFE config. And we have a different structure because that is the new structure, but I don't want to, going too far here because we will talking about that in a few minutes. But I basically copy and paste the existing bundle. So I can decide to make some modification in my Tableau MFE, or had a new micro frontend or microservices, or had some, Nintendo components, related components, Entando platform components, excuse me, such as a page or something like this. So you have everything to start from an existing bundle and create your new one. So that works with the Git-based and Docker-based bundles. I have a dedicated slide about Git-based and Docker-based bundles, so I will explain it before. But if you have bundles, you can still use that. If you want to create new bundles with the new structure, you can use that too. Okay, here we are, the new Docker-based bundles. That's fine. We were talking about that. So for people that already make bundles, you know that the structure is what we call the Git-based format. What Git-based? Because you have the sources that is stored in Git. That's like any project. But when you want to, build and make this bundle available, you have to push it into a different Git repository. So in the end, you have two repositories, one with the sources and one with the bundle. And one with the bundle have different tags, and you can, install them through the hub, for example, or through your CLI. So what we have is the descriptor YAML file inside the bundle folder, the UI file for the micro frontends, the src file for the backend sources, and the src main Docker that is more related to the JHipster blueprints, in which you have the different Docker images you can use for local purposes. So, for example, your database, your keycloaks that you're running your keycloak and so on. And you had also shell files. So now the Docker-based format, also called descriptor version v5. So we move to the v1 to the v5, is a bit different and looks more like the example we saw before. It's like you have at the root level the Entando JSON file that contains its like a main descriptor that describes all the different elements you have in your bundles. You have the microfrontends folder that contains one folder per microfrontend. You have the microservices folder that contains one folder per microservice. And you have the platform folder that contains the same one folder per component and is used for Entando related components. So for standard components such as microservices and microfrontends, you have dedicated folders. For platform-related components, you have a dedicated folder for that. The SVCs stand for service, and you will find in it the different Docker images, for example, or configuration file you need or that can help you to run the bundle locally. Okay. So you have an example here with in the Entando samples. So we have a JHipster conference, so a project that has been generated with the Entando blueprint JHipster blueprint, excuse me, and that is supposed to present a project that for conferences management. And we move it from the v5 to the v1. From the v1 to the v5, excuse me. So we still have the v1 example, but here we have the v5, so we can just check it. That is available on GitHub and still open source, of course. And you can see here that the Entando JSON contains all the different elements that you can find in the project. So for microservices, we still have one microservice that is Spring Boot 1. We have some metadata such as the lchecks path or the DBMS. We have the different macro frontends defined here, of course, and services, and some metadata for the bundle. Okay. So if I check, for example, the micro frontends, I can see I have one folder, as I said, per micro frontend. Same for the microservices. So I only have one folder. Here is the conference microservice. That is the JHipster one. So all the things generated by JHipster is available in that folder. And the platform one that is empty for this project and the SVC that contains all the different elements, such as Grafana if you want to use Grafana, Prometheus, Keycloak, Postgres, Sonar, and all these things are provided by JHipster in that case. Okay, so we can go back to the presentation. So we were talking about the Docker-based bundle, so we have everything here, and I think that is pretty clear. And my thought about that is, well, the new format is more easier to start with and more easier to understand. So I can directly check who are the micro frontends, where are the microservices, and even
Yeah.
I can have different microservices that was not possible before. So it was more like monolith. That here it's more,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's true. Even I agree. So, like previously in our previous streams, also, I think I've said this a million times that if you're working with the bundles, make sure that you are strict with the structure, the folder structure, because if anything gets lost, then there's going to be an issue, and there's so many folders to take care of. This slash this slash this. So I think this is much more cleaner and easy to use. So I'm
yeah.
pretty happy with this new feature. Trust me.
Exactly. And because of demo, yes, we already did the demo. And because also of the CLI improvement, we are going to talk about it. You will see that all this structure now makes sense with the new bundle CLI tooling that help us to, well, add new elements or something like that. Yeah, quickly to finish with this Docker-based bundle. So, uh, shout out to our documentation team that made a really good job by documenting everything. So if you want to have a good understanding, to be sure that you want to compare both Git bundles or Docker based bundles, situation solutions, you can find in that documentation some table that compare both. So that could be helpful for you if you want to have a deep understanding of that, or if you just want to move your V1 bundles to the V5. One more things about that is the JHipster blueprint is 7.1 compliant. So that means if you want to still use JHipster to generate your new component, you can use it with JHipster. But that's true. I must admit that you still have some manual steps that are required, because for the moment you can run it into your microservice, and probably for micro frontends you need to move them into the right place, and probably also make some modification into the microservice code once, and ensure that everything is well fine with the 7.1. So to cover that, we have a tutorial also made by the documentation team that cover that generate microservices and micro frontends with 7.1. So now let's talk about this new publishing process. So because we now have the Docker-based CLI, Docker-based bundle, features, we can also expect the CLI to bring some new things to handle with that. So for example, if you check here quickly, you can find that to create or update a bundle, you have, let's say, more simpler and current command lines. You can execute to into the different steps of the process. So for example, the first one is you can run the ent bundle pack to build a component. Then you want to publish to the Docker registry, so you have a command to do that. Then you have one for deploying your bundle into your environment, internal environment, and then you want to install them. That will effectively, install, deploy MFEs, set up the pods and configure the ingresses. And for people that already use this CLI, I think they already know, for example, such as deploy and install, but they have been moved from PRG to the end bundle. So everything is starting with end bundle and action, end bundle pack, end bundle publish, end bundle deploy, end bundle install. So it's very easy to read it, to understand what it does. And we also have documentation for that. So this is just an example of what you can find in the documentation, but all the different commands are well documented. And bundle build a component for MFE or microservices with a selector. For example, you can have, if you check at the bottom, you can have something dedicated to microservices or micro frontends like nbundle MS or nbundle MFE, and you can add a new micro frontend from that. So when you add a new micro frontend, that will automatically update the Entando JSON file and add the structure for you. Then you just have to code it. This is not a generator, of course. We are not generating the new code just like we can do with the JHipster blueprint, but it helps you to follow the structures. As Sony said before, that was a bit more difficult in the past because you had to follow the structure without knowing exactly at which level you had to create the folder, to put the code, and so on. Now you have a command line that prepare the project for you, and you just need to go in it and add your own code.
And I think the best part is the commands are easy to understand also. So it's like even if somebody reads it out like end bundle deploy, like I think the entire meaning is in the command itself. Like it means this command is to deploy the bundle. Previously it used to be PRG, and so what is PRG? PRJ.
Yeah, that's why it's more we can say we streamline also the commands. Like if I read the command for the first time, I can understand what it does, and if I'm not sure, I can check the documentation and understand what it does. And then if I did it first, let's say once, that will be probably enough to understand all the different commands. So that is a good point for FI. I think for the developer experience, that's just perfect. We are moving to the next topic, that is the Entando platform capability. So in the past, we talk a lot of time about package business capabilities. So package business capabilities are available on a hub to help you composing your application by providing some available business-oriented components, set of components that cover business area. That's good. But what about if you want to extend the platform itself? And this is why we thought about doing the Entando platform capability. So an EPC adds some additional low-code capabilities into your platform. We also define two different kind of EPC that could be more functional or more sits at system level. So for example, the functional one could be the Strapi IO, that is a headless CMS Strapi. So you can find it on internet. So Strapi is something available, and so that means you can decide to use Strapi in Entando to create your content and manage your content instead of using the Entando CMS ones, and just by installing the EPC. So this is more functional. If we talk about the system one, it will be, so for example, for monitoring. So if you want to add an EPC to monitor inside your Entando app builder, you want to monitor something, you can do it by installing an EPC for that. So that's a good point, because whatever you want to do, you will have more, for final usage or for daily usages. You will find different EPCs for that. Okay, so you can leverage capability in your stack, extend one or more headless capabilities. Can be application specific also. So, we have some functional EPC examples. So, CMS with Strapi, API management with APMan, workflow with GBPM, and so on. Rule management with rules, and so on. So, We can imagine a lot of different, use cases. For the moment, we have no example. We have, well, I'd say we don't have any EPC available on the hub. So the thing is, what do you want to do is just to install your EPC just like you install your PBCs, but it will done into the Entendo Hub Builder. So for example, if I'm checking that, or I need to, if I go into my 7.1 Hub Builder here, you can see that I have a new EPCs menu. If I click in here, I should be able to access to the different EPC available on my Entendo instance. For the moment, I have no EPCs. Yeah, because I have still none. And for the moment, because we don't have any EPCs available, what you can do is just to click on it, and you will be able to browse the Entendo Cloud Hub. The first EPCs we are going to release is this Trapi.io. So that will be released soon, and we plan to release more, in the incoming months to cover, more different features, functional
And
or
you
system.
know, yeah,
Yeah. So, excuse me, what did you say?
I was just saying, like, for that to know all of those, you all need to stay tuned.
Yeah, of course. So that means you can subscribe to the YouTube channel,
Yep.
follow us on DevT, and
Yep.
also on the official Entendo.com website that includes a blog.
Yep.
And the last but not least, we are talking about the microfrontend and microservice discovery. So let's take an example. Very simple example. I want to start with one microservice and one microfrontend. Probably a real use case, we will have multiple microfrontends, of course, still with one microservice or multiple microservices. But just to make it simple as possible, I just want to start with one microservice and one microfrontend. So what I want to have and what I will have for my local development is a local JSON configuration file that is included in the microfrontend. So this file will contain metadata to define the service URL. So the service URL is basically the base endpoint, the base path for reaching my microservice. And then I can call the /API/hello endpoint. But if I'm moving to the production mode, what I want to do is, what I will have is still leveraging the properties injection, but not by the JSON file, but directly from Entendo, directly defined from Entendo, that extract that from the microservice. So when you install a new microservice, Entendo will also inject properties for let's microfrontends discovering the service URL. And so you can easily, and you can still call the /API/hello without changing anything in your macro frontend. So your macro frontend will work as the same in local mode or production mode. The only things you need to have is for local, you need to define it by yourself with a JSON file. By the way, it's available with the macro frontends generated by JHipster, so it's already present. And for production, you just need to, deploy everything, and it will work. And of course, we have a tutorial for that, so you can access the tutorial and understand to add an API claim in your microservice and macro frontends, or most only macro frontend, by the way. So a quick example of the JSON configuration file is this one. So you have the system params API and MyService API. So MyService API is basically something that can change according to your service name. So in that, it could be any service API, it could be entity service API, it could be something different regarding each macro service you want to access to. And you will have the URL inside it. And for example, for the local ones, have the HTTP localhost 8081. It could be 8082. It could be 8080. It could be something very different. All these things must be defined for your own environment. So if we think about the production mode, let's say when we deploy it into Nintendo at least, the value of the variable will be defined by Nintendo. And so you don't need to care about it. And your microphone will work as the same as it works in local mode. Good. So we now are discovering some breaking changes. So it's not always let's say a pleasure to have some breaking changes, but sometimes we have to. So that's also a good thing to having clear view of what is new and what is breaking in the 7.1 version. So that is a quick thing. It's not exactly a breaking change, but I think it's important enough to explain it. So the Nintendo component repository, so in which you have all the components installed, you have in your. By the way, this is here. No. If I go back in the Hub Builder, you can see that here it has to be Nintendo component repository. Now it's named local hub. So this is a new name. This is just a name changing, but it's also to keep consistency between the different hub we have. So the local hub is the hub you have in your Nintendo. The Nintendo Cloud Hub is the one available, is the official Nintendo SaaS hub. And you can have, I don't know, my company hub or anything else. My, I don't know, that could be my community hub, maybe in the future. I hope so. What about the Docker-based bundle? So Docker-based bundle also introduced some breaking changes. So Docker-based bundles are only available for Nintendo 7.1. And plus, Git-based bundles are fully forward compatible to 7.1. So you don't need to move your Git-based bundle to Docker-based bundle yet. But NPRG and Git-based bundle are not deprecated with 7.1. So you can still use them, but I suggest you to move them, smoothly to the Docker-based bundles. Documentation and tutorials are shifting to the new format, so Docker-based bundles. And bundle plugin component identifiers change when moving to Docker-based. One more thing about document and tutorials. So if you want to access to the previous documentation, it's still possible. So you have a drop-down menu. You can select in which you can select the different version. So it could be 7.1, 7.0, and even before. The configuration MFEs, so the micro frontends that are being developed to configure the other ones, even in Git-based bundles, need to be JavaScript modules. You can have all the list and all the details about the breaking changing in our release notes here. That's good. So we finished.
And yeah.
So let's move back here. So that was very interesting. So what do you think about that, Sweeney? Do you want to use 7.1?
Yeah, of course. I think if you are viewing us right now, this is for all our viewers. I would love to say you should go and take a look at 7.1. Try it out yourself. Come in to us with your feedback, because that is important. Your feedback is extremely important for us. That helps us to improve it and make it even better next time. But I think this time, with all the changes that have come with 7.1, are really, really interesting. For me, I really like the CLI bundles, the commands for those. They are pretty easy to understand. That's one of my favorite. And the second one is the Docker-based bundle structure. The folder structure is super cool, easy to understand. And of course, EPC is something which we really wanted to bring in for a long time, and I think that's in. And definitely, it's going to give you a lot of developer joy. And if you're someone who's been using Entando previously and has used our previous versions, then definitely you're going to find the difference.
Yeah, I think regarding who you are, what you are doing, in your team, you will definitively have a lot of benefits of these new features.
Yep.
Bundles more for creators, but I will say also, APCs that could be very exciting for creators too, but maybe also for composers, that they
Mhm.
can use uh, some different tools, functional APCs. System APCs can be also very profitable for people that want to manage. So that could be for business owners or
Mhm.
more even for tech people. It really depends, but you in all these features, depending who you are and what you are doing, you can finding good things to. I'm pretty sure it will help you in your daily routine. So just to remind you, we have a blog post that is talking about the 7.1 overview is available on Dev2 and our official website. You can complete that video. You can, you can read it to have more also, details
Add in
with the
your thoughts
videos too.
as well on the comment section, especially that too. Definitely
Yeah.
go to it.
And and you have also the documentation that's been updated and is very complete on all the different things we have just seen now. And also we are preparing exciting content, more technical ones, so stay
Mhm.
tuned. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe on Dev2, and follow us on Twitter also.
Yeah, support us, and we're gonna bring in great content and stuff for you. Definitely.
Yeah, perfect. Anything else, Any?
No,
Or it's time
that's
to
it.
say bye bye.
Yeah, it's time
Okay,
to say
thanks
bye.
everybody.
Much. Bye
See you next
bye.
time. Bye bye.